Good evening and welcome back to the Mindful Model Makers Workshop. So today, this is just a brief one. I know I've covered the making of the power bogies, which are from the Hornby Eurostar. I buy these because they fit just what I want them to do. These two that I have here are going to power my forecast sub. So they will be fixed up in like this so that they swivel on the sub like so. Right, this one is one that my son had already utilised for something else, but it's already got a pickup. It's different to the pickup that I normally use, but that doesn't really matter. It still works, okay? And this is basically just as it comes out of the packet when I buy them. I forget they're usually about 35, 36 pounds, thereabouts. And they're very good because both sets of wheels are powered. So you get the whole thing. And of course, with this 4-car, it's going to have two. Now, what I buy myself, because this is just by an accident, really, I buy these pickups that I pronounce it Marklin. I don't know if that is the proper pronunciation. I buy these on eBay, and usually you can get a pair for about £16, thereabouts. Right, they come like this with, I think what they are basically designed for is to go onto coaches and things for lighting. So they pick up on a rail and they give the current for the lighting. I don't. I utilise them because they do really well for what I want for Hornby Dublo free rail. So what I do, again, I've only found this out by just working on it over the time. I pull these back like so. It's quite delicate, so you don't want to be too heavy-handed with it. Just nice and gentle. You just don't really want to put. If you put kinks into this kind of material, then you kind of take the springiness away from where you want it, and then this piece will come out, which is an insulation strip that comes out. Don't need that anymore. Then what I do, I flatten them out so I can get a pair of flat pliers and put them in and just gently squeeze, and then that will flatten it as much as what I need it to do. Then what I do, I get the bottom of the actual power bogie itself, and it's got kind of printed bits on there. So there's some raised up kind of plastic. So what I do, I get rid of that by filing it. So I turn it over and then I file all this bit off there. It's showing you about not putting it in the bin and various bits and pieces. So I file that, because what I do is I super glue this on. So I super glue it like this, straight onto that flat piece of plastic, like so. Also, later on, when it's all going, I get rid of the metal bit that's in here. So this will actually come off of this copper strip that I use to touch the third rail. So what will happen, I can show you on the one my son made, these two bits either end will touch the third rail, which picks up the other part of the current. So the other modification I do to it is I link either side with a wire. So that means the current that goes through those two rails is the same. It doesn't actually matter. It's not going to short nothing out. It's not like a 2-rail system where you've got the plus one side, minus the other. You've got the plus either on this rail or that rail, and the minus is on the inner rail or whatever. It doesn't matter what way round it is, as long as it's all working the same. So this red wire that's on here will connect to the skate in the middle. So that will be filed off. That will be glued on. Probably before I glue it, because obviously I don't want to upset it with the heat, I will shorten this wire, obviously, and I will solder it onto one of these. Conveniently, I will solder it on to one of these copper bits that stick out, because it's just the right thing. Obviously I shorten this wire right down so it just pops onto that. Then later on I'll take this outer metal bit off. You'll see that I can show you this, the copper bit itself just sits inside there, and before I managed to just pop it out. I'm not going to pop it out now because it helps to keep all this together, which is what I want it to do. And then once that's done, you will end up with something similar to this, but without these wide bits. But if you wanted wider on here, you could just solder the cross pieces on. It's quite easy, which gives it going over points and things like that, so it picks up easier. So yeah, that's all I do to make these pick up third rail. It's that simple. Join up these 2 points either side, and then you can see it goes to that point on the motor. The red wire, I just feed it down through underneath, and then that will be shortened and soldered on to the pickup for the middle rail. That is it. That gives you all the current you need then, and that will work. So I haven't finished that because I've got to file all that off. Or what I tend to do is file off all this side work, because obviously what I will do is make up an artificial shoe beam that will go on there as well. And it covers all that. And once all this is painted black, you won't see any of that. So a lot of this is filed down. I cut away as much of this plastic as I can. And the reason is to give it more turn inside the coach, because you want it to have a fair bit of radius for turning inside, which it did quite well on the EPB. No reason why it's not going to on the sub, because the ends are very similar anyway, just obviously a slightly different pattern, because obviously one's a sub and one's an EPB, the EPB being more modern. So the next thing will be to shave off all of this. You can use a little hand grinder, you can just do it with a file, you can take some of the real high points off with a knife. Just be careful that you don't go too far down. The thing is with this, it's purely cosmetic. The wheels don't fix to it. The wheels fix through the centre. So the wheels are not actually stuck into this at all. But I need something flat to fix the shoe beams on when that bit's done. And really, that is it. And the next part will be to get this base piece here, glue the piece of wood that I did before, and put an aluminium strip with a hole in, and then this will just clip up on the end, and then you will have the swivel like that. So you've seen that before, but I just wanted to show you a little bit more in depth about what I do with these skates and why I use them, because they're ready made. I mean, they're basically about £8 each. It's not really worth fiddling around too much. It just does the job. It's very quick. By the time you've got it flattened out, you've got a place on there that you can solder the wire onto for the pickup, and away you go. But they're useful for lots of things. But they are very useful in converting 2-rail to 3-rail, because you can use the big old spoons that you used to get on a lot of the stuff. But the problem is there's not enough room underneath here in order to fit them. Some things you can get away with. Some of the, if you buy 2-rail Hornby Dublo that perhaps was once 3-rail, that's easy. Because normally you just take off the little plate that they put on there to put the power onto the side of the wheels, and then you can put the old spoons back in, because a lot of them were just built as 3-rail and it's easy to convert back. So I hope that's been of some use to you. I'm still going to get on with these. Hopefully within the next 2 weeks they'll be finished. So just follow along. Just subscribe. And if you click the bell icon, then you'll know when I put a new video on, and you can just follow along if you think it's helpful. And obviously if you like, just please give me a like. But there you are. So I'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much. Bye now.